Now for the Europe of Freedom and Direct Democracy Group, let me give the floor to Mr Farage.
Your Excellency, Mr Barnier, Your Excellency, Mr Timmermans, these are the terms that the British Prime Minister used in her begging letter just a couple of days before the Brexit vote. And I think the fact she used those terms is entirely consistent with the entire negotiation. I realised on the 8th of December 2017 where this was going, where to meet a deadline set by Mr Barnier, an unelected bureaucrat in Brussels, the Prime Minister left Downing Street at 4:15 in the morning to fly to meet you, and running up to the deadline, she signed up to the principle of the Irish backstop. The pass was sold from that moment. It has been throughout a total failure of leadership, but perhaps more significantly, she hasn't learnt or heeded the historical lesson that if you appease bullies, they always come back for more. She's behaved like a leader of a nation defeated in war. And that is why this withdrawal agreement looked more like a surrender document, and it was smashed to pieces in the House of Commons last night. She, of course, believed that she'd get some concessions from you today, but it's perfectly clear with what you've said, there are no concessions to come. She is still our Prime Minister, and that of itself is quite remarkable. If she had any sense of honour, she'd be gone by lunchtime today. There are some, Mr Barnier, there are some here who say you've wasted 2 years of your life. I disagree completely, because you've got us now exactly where you want us. And that's despite the fact that 500 MPs voted for Article 50, which of course makes very clear that there are 2 years in which to negotiate a withdrawal agreement or we just leave. And that was backed up, of course, by the Act of Parliament, the Withdrawal Act, which once again says, unconditionally, we leave on the 29th of March. Now, Mr President, you say there's no support for no deal, but then you all thought there was no support for Brexit in the first place. You might be surprised how quickly public opinion is changing. Mr Timmermans, you say this would cause great harm. But if we leave on no deal, if we stick to the law as it is, we become an independent country. And I would say to you, what price? Freedom. But I'll be the first to admit, I doubt this will happen, because working in cahoots with you, we have Mr Blair and many other leaders of the British establishment who treat the Brexit vote and treat voters in general with total and utter contempt. And there is a great tradition here, isn't there? We've seen it with Denmark and with Ireland. You make people vote again. All I can say is if we finish up with an extension of Article 50, we may well finish up fighting the next set of European elections, and we will fight them. And if the betrayal becomes complete and we are forced to vote in a second referendum, you may be in for a big surprise. The British may be a very placid people, very laid back, but I promise you, if they get pushed too far, it's a lion that will roar. We will be even more defiant if we have to fight a second referendum, and we'll win it by a bigger majority. Yeah.